The main purpose, though, that we really got involved with was the invoicing and the cash flow. And when we had piloted Adam, we were very interested in making sure that we would take the entire process from the time a ticket was issued all the way through when it was invoiced. And that has been our biggest benefit, frankly, in the overall process. We were getting invoices out anywhere between a couple of weeks, sometimes 2 to 3 weeks after the job was done, chasing information. And so now we get most of our invoices out on the taxi cranes next day, and our T&M and larger contracts we'll do within several days after the job's done. So we've picked up about 2 weeks of cash flow, and you guys all know that cash is king. So that's been a huge piece of it. So next slide, Ms. James. We have seen significant operational efficiency improvements. We do our payroll daily, so we approve payroll every day. We know what the guys are doing in the field. We've got a lot more transparency of our non-billable hours when the guys are on the yard, or we've got them assigned to other non-revenue generating tasks. And we have seen some cost improvement. We said that Fleet Cost and Care told us we would see that, and we have seen some percentage of cost that we've been able to reduce. Now, we told the guys that we're not interested in reducing their hours with this process. That wasn't one of the goals. But what we want is we want to make sure that they're more effective when they're in the field. So, yeah, so we've also implemented this with OnBase, which is our document control system. We'd already interfaced NextGen to Great Plains, but we've got a seamless now transition for all of our documents that flow from NextGen into our document control system. So we've eliminated about 1 full-time equivalent person in our office in Greensboro. We'll probably do another half person that will eliminate those tasks. We're reassigning them to where we can get more business and get, like I said, we weren't trying to reduce staff, but what we were trying to do is make our people more efficient. So you can change over one more. The implementation went exceptionally well. Now we left Chicago in February, not knowing. The only thing I'd heard about the coronavirus was that China was building some hospitals and that there was some concern. And by the time we got back and got set up to do our implementation, they canceled the ACC basketball tournament. And anybody who knows North Carolina, that's serious stuff. And so we changed our plan there. We were going to pilot the process with 5 people and then bring in some Fleet Cost and Care personnel to help us do the training, but they trained us to train, and it actually worked out better. We used our training with test tablets. We configured our production tablets during the training, and then as soon as those guys were finished their training on a Monday, we would send them out for that week. And frankly, we had great acceptance amongst our operators. They like Adam. It's very user friendly. They like the fact they're not being chased. They like the fact they can see the day before all the information on their job. And so I think the bigger impact that caught us not fully by surprise, but that there's a good bit of process training required for the admin and dispatch people. And so we spent a good bit of time early on in that process rethinking and doing process mapping and that type of thing. So that's kind of our experience in general.
Great, thanks, Randall. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about your experience with training employees, with getting people up and running. Did you have any pushback, and how did you overcome any difficulties you faced there?
Well, we'd heard there might be. What was interesting is we made a list of early adopters, guys that we thought would accept the process. We had already implemented tablet-based DOT compliance software, so all of our operators and drivers have tablets already, so we didn't have to overcome the electronic piece. And of course, everybody uses their phones and tablets now for banking even in the last few years, I think the world understands that it's an electronic world. So we were less worried about that, but we ended up, actually, some of the younger guys got a hold of it, were quite good at it. Some of our more old line crane operators who have the larger cranes, I think they felt a little bit of a competition, honestly, that if the young guys could do it, then they could too. And it doesn't hurt that you implement payroll with the tablet. So when you tell a guy, you're doing your payroll here and I need a ticket so you can get paid, it's amazing how easy it is for them to adopt the process. Yeah, we had a couple of guys that grumbled a little bit, but you consider we got probably 60 field personnel that are going to be on this. I would say it's less than just a handful of people that we felt like we had to really push a little bit. So it was more of a pull, really. A lot of the guys were asking for it. We still have one more implementation to do in one of our offices, and they're more than excited about getting on the process. So yeah, we didn't have any problem.
That's great. That's great feedback. It sounds like you had a good plan early on. Another thing I was hoping you could touch on a little bit more is time savings. Did you measure how much time you've been able to save? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, I mean, yeah, we didn't measure hours as far as our admin people, but I can tell you that they're a lot less stressed. Tuesday used to be the worst day of the week in our crane department because we had to get 60 people's timesheets in, figured out, and have it ready by the end of the day, Wednesday. We have payroll done mostly by Monday morning now. So just that right alone shows you when you do payroll every day and you're chasing people, you know what they've done in the day previous. They put that in their tablet. It's just so much simpler. And then invoicing, you guys helped us with a new invoice approval process. We've implemented that on the hourly basis. And I really think that we've saved a significant amount of time in invoice approval. And we interfaced it with OnBase, which is our document control system. NextGen's very friendly in being able to push information out. And so we've worked with AG and your development team. They've done a couple of customizations for us, which we very much appreciate. So you guys, by the way, kudos to the whole development team, to Kyle Snurley, all of the guys that are your customer implementation team. It's first-class people. Really, they understand the business. They understand our challenges. Super responsive. So in that, we've never had an issue. I mean, one morning we got up at 5 in the morning and the tablets weren't working. We'd had a bad push from one of y'all. We had some problems with an implementation, some problem on our side actually. And you guys had it fixed within 30, 45 minutes early in the morning. So yeah, I mean, we think, and it's well thought through. We like the fact that Adam allows an operator to accept a ticket to do work. And we also like it that if there's a short job, like you're going to receive a unit in your yard, some air conditioning unit comes in, you didn't know it was coming, there's no ticket available. Operator can do that work, charge it to a job. We just give them a verbal instruction and they can put that in their tablet. So it's well thought through. You guys have done a real good job of figuring out how to save us time. So, but I don't know that we've got an hours number. I would say, I don't know. We probably save, my guess is something like 3,000 hours of effort, be my guess, something like that.
Great. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your process before implementing Adam. Were you using paper tickets? What did that look like?
Yeah, it was awful. I mean, honest truth, it's embarrassing. Some of the crane tickets where the guys had eaten lunch on them, the professionalism of Adam and NextGen is so much higher than what we had. And so truth is we were in the dark ages as it related to paper. And I imagine you guys have done very well over the summer, I understand, with selling product. I know what part of the reason why is that in the world of remote management of a business, NextGen and Adam allow you to do that where you don't have to be physically tied to paper. So our process was terrible. I mean, I just be honest with you. And we're using it as a customer driver. We've heard comments from the field that we're getting invoices out. It's very impressive when somebody leaves a job site at noon and the invoice is in their inbox by 3 o'clock that afternoon. That's impressive. So and that's the way the world is now. So we believe that it's given us a bit of a marketing advantage as well.
That's great. Well, I've asked Matt Reinhardt to allow people to unmute themselves. So if anybody who is present, if you want to turn on your camera, please feel free to do so. If not, that's okay. But does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask directly to Randall, whether you're a customer or a prospect or maybe another FCC employee? And you can feel free to chat any questions you have, or you can unmute yourself and ask it live.
Well, I get pictures of everybody that got, I've been working with a lot of these folks in Detroit now. So this is like the FCC crew. I'm enjoying you guys all look great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, actually we all had our headshots taken at Interface in person last year. So we all have the uniform look at least, which is good. So I'll give people time if they would like to come up with a question. So let's see. How did you go about spreading word of the way to use the tool throughout your organization? You said you had a group of early adopters. Were they responsible for training other employees? How did you go about the training process?
We put together an implementation team. I'm not a software implementation guy, or person, but we led a team of very talented folks. We had a good implementation for our DOT compliance software that we did a number of years ago. And so we used the communication plan that we had in that. So we mixed it up with one-on-one. We did have some company-wide kind of communication, but the team itself, probably 4 or 5 folks, but I would say it was mostly word of mouth, honest truth. That's the best kind of communication. So we're not so large that we span the US. We didn't, but we did make a list of those folks that would be affected and where their processes were. And some of our admin people had their jobs completely changed. And so, there's a lot of one-on-one in that, where you've got to say, look, you're a valuable employee. We've appreciated what you've done in the past, but your job's going to change. And so again, I'm not a change management person, but being able to have that conversation in advance before they see that makes people feel comfortable. I was out in the field a lot. I worked with it when we did our pilot project. We traveled with crane operators when they were implementing their tablets, so they didn't feel alone. Before we'd implement with some of the more vocal guys in the business, we would be in the field with them. You learn more in the field in the crane business than you do from the office. So a lot of field conversations. So not much different than any other construction kind of environment where you're trying to make a process change.
Can you tell me a little bit about what reporting tools you're using? What kind of reports you're using in NextGen? Are there any that stand out to you as being more useful than another?
Yeah, I would say that it takes, if I had any piece of constructive criticism for fleet cost and care, the reports are quite good, but they're hard to find and they're hard to figure out. So Kyle was super in helping us through that. We used the process flow reports, things like e-tickets not completed and all of the process flow that AG and the team and have put together to help with that. We have augmented our reports with a set of crystal reports, which we do costing outside of fleet cost and care. And so our crane efficiency reports and our job cost reports are done external to fleet cost and care. But I would say that your database design is quite organized. So again, not to be too technical with this group, but a guy I'm not a software guy, but I could figure out your database structure pretty easily. And so we mine NextGen it's real time. So we mine it real time for the information that you have. And we like the interface there. So, but we don't we have not implemented your front end. We're looking at that now. So the sales side The sales assistant presentation I was on this morning will be automating quotations and tracking of quotations and looking at some CRM kind of activities that Jack was presenting this morning. So, so we still got a lot. I mean, I'm still new, so we still got a ways to go, but the tool works well with other software tools. And so we have implemented, in reporting at least, I'd say probably 60% of our reports are done outside of NextGen.
Thank you. I think Tyler wants to ask a question. Are you unmuted, Tyler?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Where are you, Tyler? Are you on a boat or something? Are those like portholes behind you? What's the deal, dude?
We're at the bar.
Oh, yes. Well, shit. I got a meeting at 6 at my house. That's why I came home early. So, yeah, okay. What you got?
Well, Jane, thanks for having us. And my question for you is, what were your biggest fears to make the leap? You know, you're definitely more established than I am. Sounds like twice the size, so you're probably far more evolved. But what were your biggest fears, and did they come into play, or were they all for nothing?
Yeah, so anytime you go fully electronic, you know, you're kind of taking the dive off the deep end. And I had so many promises from the fleet cost and care guys that the communication with the tablets was going to be okay, that we weren't going to get up at 4 in the morning and get phone calls from our operators saying they haven't got their ticket for the day, and what the hell are we going to do with 60 people out in the field that don't have paper or backup. Now, the guys still have a tablet with a crane ticket, a ticket in it. And I wouldn't say that we've never used that, but communication for me was my biggest fear, that we would issue a set of orders to the field and that the system would crash. And so that has not been the case. The nice thing about the design of Atom is that they capture their data locally to their tablet. And so for some reason, if they're not in communication with the internet, it caches that information, and then if they're in some remote area, you get it later. So not everything's real time, but I would say that was one of my biggest fears. And so the first job we did was in a small boom truck job in a huge set of steel superstructure. The communication was quite bad. It was pouring down rain, and the guy couldn't sign the tablet just because we couldn't find a dry place for him to sign it. I think we probably tested, that was our first job we ever had an Atom ticket generated. But what was nice about that is that, you know, 15, 20 minutes later, you're able to make it work. So, does that answer your question? That'd probably be my number one fear. I guess number two would be that the guys would hate it. You know, and it's one thing to have the tablet demonstrated to you and it looked very slick and everything works well in a demo. And then you get out and you find out, well, it's not as user-friendly as you think it should be. So our crane operators are smart folks. Don't get me, and drivers, they are smart people, but it's not a hard system to run. So acceptance, I guess, would be number two.
Now, speaking of acceptance, did you find a correlation between honesty and dishonesty as far as acceptance? Were the people that didn't accept it, are they just angry that they can't get away with as much?
Well, it's funny. We're amongst friends, right? So I told the owner of the company, I said, nobody's going to walk in your office and say they don't want to use this tablet because they want to steal 4 hours from you. You know, but I would say that accountability is something from a leadership perspective that you have to teach your people all the time. Some guys don't like to be accountable, so we tend to talk in those terms. So, we have never had a guy say, I don't want to use it because I want to steal hours from the company, or I want to sleep on the side of the road in a truck, or whatever it may be. But I would say our workforce is pretty solid when it comes to, we don't really have those issues. I think I've run my own company before I did this. leadership's something you have to take on whether you're using Adam or not. And so was there a correlation? The problem is that guys that don't want to be honest, I don't necessarily want them working with us. So, but I mean, you know what I mean, Tyler. Yeah, I would say there may be but there's what happens is we got these young guys that had the tablet. The guys that have been with the company for a while, they were not going to say they couldn't run it when the young guys could. So, yeah, it was actually kind of cool the way that worked out. And we didn't plan it that way when I say early adopters, but a lot of the young guys that are just boom truck guys and they want to get in the larger cranes and they're competing for some of those jobs when those jobs come open, those are the guys that want to do a good job and be accountable. So, yeah, you use a little bit of that, I guess, from a leadership perspective. I mean, does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. I feel like I'm going to have an opposite effect. I have the utmost faith in the FCC team. We are mid-sized, very little management. Everyone gets a lot of responsibility, and
Right.
it's their opportunity to either abuse it or not. And the people that don't abuse it, they work here for a lifetime. The people that abuse it, if there's an opportunity that presents itself, then they may or may not have the same luxury. And I fear not the old timers, actually. I think that they have absolutely nothing to hide. They want the company, they've seen the company grow. I think it's the young guys, in my opinion, that, and not all of them, some of them that try to self-reward by saying, well, I'm
Right.
really good at what I do. Nobody else is as good as me. So they might have an 8-hour crane and they get in at 7 hours and they just say, you know what, I'm going to go home and relax because I did such a good job. And I feel like this is going to help me with my lack of management. I've got the whole FCC team managing behind the scenes.
Right.
And that's what I'm looking forward to most. I'm just trying to get some baby steps done on our end so that we learn the system from the dispatching side and the admin side before we launch. And
Yeah, you want to make sure it works. Let me tell you, you do not want to go to your field and say, oh, well, we didn't really mean it. We're going to come back in a week or two. That's not, you want to make sure it's good. And the guys in Fleet Cost and Care will help you with that. So, yeah.
Confident of that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time. And thank you, Jane, for hosting this.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Tyler, for chiming in. Appreciate it. Another question came to my mind while you guys were speaking, and we've talked a lot about operators and people in the field. We haven't talked a ton about administrative people and their use of the system. How do your admin, your accounting folks like using the system? What benefits do they get from it? Any issues?
Yeah, so the benefit is that they can do more challenging work. And we told them that from the very start. So instead of scanning and transferring something from one piece of paper and hand typing it into a computer and these kind of administrative tasks, we eliminated a huge piece of that work. So their jobs are more rewarding. And we have used them because they know the business better. You know, your person that's invoicing knows your cash register better than anybody. The person that is dispatching knows where that crane is every minute. And those people, they appreciate the fact that they've been given, as Tyler was saying, a little bit more responsibility. So we've pushed responsibility down to them and made their job more challenging, which I like and rewarding. Now, in any change situation, we have one admin person, their job that handle payroll, their job is completely different now. And I would say that that she is super excited about the changes that have been made. So people have a larger view of the business. The other thing is that in a paper world, you're compartmentalized. You only see the piece that you see. With Adam and NextGen, now you see the whole situation. You can get a better business sense of what's going on. So, so yeah, it's we didn't realize the full effect of the change that we've done administratively. It was a much bigger change for admin people, but we haven't seen any problems out of that change. So
great. That's great. Does anybody else have any other questions? Any customers? If not, I know Kyle Sneerly wanted to chime in.
Hey, you guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Randall, how you doing?
Good, man. When you coming down? We got to get you back to North Carolina.
I'm ready, especially when the frost is starting up here. It's starting to get depressing. But no, I just want to thank you first and foremost for joining today and sharing your story. It's been a pleasure working with you. You've got a great team down there. That certainly helps. You guys put a ton of effort into the planning of the rollout. I think you mentioned it in your presentation, but I think you're a bit modest in terms of the level of effort that went into that. Can you talk a little bit about some of those efforts and maybe some things you might do differently? I know hindsight being 2020, but how important that planning phase was.
Yeah, I don't know that I would really say that. I mean, it's hard to know, ifs and buts or fruits and nuts. We'd all have a Merry Christmas. So I don't know. I don't know that we've done a lot different. I think we actually got helped by COVID, because my view was that we would have this thing fully implemented by the start of the third quarter. And I think we're not fully implemented yet. We still have one more office to go. So we slowed down. And in one sense, you don't get all the savings right up front. You don't get the full impact of the change right away. But I think a lot of my team actually came to me and said, we're moving a little quick. We really need to understand what we're doing. So patience by the way, you've been gifted with tremendous patience. I don't have that. So, I want something now and I want it to work. And Kyle will explain something 6 times, 6 different ways to the same person asking the same question. And I think that understanding the full impact of everybody that's being touched by this is important. So we didn't really formally process map it. Well, we do have we got kind of a war room with our diagrams up on the wall, and that was helpful. And we used the team to do that, and it takes time. I mean, change takes time. So
yeah, I think you guys developed a strong group of subject matter experts internally. So when you did roll it out, whether it was Josh or Susan, yourself, you guys were ready to respond and address those questions.
Yes, Josh is our operations manager. So he's very tech savvy. So he comes out of the transportation world. His grandfather ran a transportation company. So, but he's very tech savvy, and then Susan is our head trainer, and having a really good person that relates to the guys in the field is a huge deal. And so, yeah, thanks for that. And our accounting people and all of our admin people were involved, dispatch. So, yeah, thanks.
All right, Gene, I think you've got a question from a customer.
Yeah, I have a customer that just came in, a question that just came in. So the question is, are you manually entering jobs since they're not using NextGen for quoting, or do you have a link from whatever they are using for quotes?
No, it's something we need to do. So I like the front end quote. We use the estimated billing tab that has been configured by Crane. So I like the screens that I've seen on the front end that immediately reflect into an order entry. I mean, we copy, I don't know what, 85% of our jobs are single day jobs that are just repeat customers. And you just, you copy that job from one to the next and change the date. It's not as efficient though, there's no doubt about it. And we do harp on our sales guys that estimated billing at order entry is super important. It would be so much better if we had a standard quote form and understood exactly what our agreements were in writing before we did a job. So before we entered a job, that exists, but it just doesn't exist in NextGen. So probably fourth quarter we'll do that. So whoever gave the question, yeah, we enter them manually, and it's still something we haven't implemented yet. So we like the fleet cost and care front end. It's a good front end.
Kyle, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I'm just looking forward to continuing to working with Randall and his team. They're off to a great start, and I think the pace is right on, as Randall mentioned, and yeah, more good things to come.
Well, thank you, Randall and Kyle and Tyler, everyone who participated. I really appreciate you joining us today, Randall, especially for taking time out of your day to chat with us and chat with our customers. We appreciate it. And I hope everyone will join us again tomorrow. We start at 10 a.m. There's 4 more sessions. And we just hope you guys get a lot out of our sessions and our training. And please provide feedback in the surveys or send me an email. All right. Well, with that being said, thank you, Randall. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'm going to end the meeting.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys. Thanks, Randall.
Thanks, Jane.
Thanks, Randall.
You bet.
Thanks, Jane.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler. Hey. All right.